If you are ever unsure as to what to do in the current cryptocurrency market, well, take a look at what Michael Saylor said. Sell a kidney if you must, but keep the Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about why I think the market's due a reversal, why ultimately I haven't sold a single coin, and ultimately, again, why I think we're going to be in big moves very, very soon. If that's something like the sound of, you want to know more, stick around, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget, come and join us every day, 4 p.m. Eastern here on the channel, talking all of your latest cryptocurrencies, news, reviews, technical analysis, and much, much more. With that being said, let's get into the video. So, all jokes aside, it is kind of interesting that Michael Saylor, now holding a huge 500,000 Bitcoin, sell a kidney if you must, but keep the Bitcoin. Does he know something? Obviously not. But it is interesting to see these bigger accounts are all macro bullish, and the sentiment, take the fact that it's Michael Saylor aware. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with these big wallet holders, what Blackrock are doing, and more importantly, what does the immediate short term look like for Bitcoin, including some price analysis. So we've had a couple of interesting news announcements today that I want to just touch on. Very interesting. Crypto gains momentum as the SEC dismisses the lawsuit against Hex Coin. Now, for many of you that were around in 2021, you will know Hex was, I called it a scam personally. I know loads of people invested into it, but it fell exactly as to what it was, which was a multi-level marketing Ponzi scheme. Now, Richard Hart obviously flexed way too much, but the court has decided that they're going to remove it. It's not going to be a thing. The SEC actions are basically thrown out. Now, we'll get into a bit more in terms of my XRP update very, very soon, but this is some positive momentum. We also know that Blackrock is adding Bitcoin exposure to its model portfolio via IBIT. What does this mean? Well, the reality is that it is allowing further exposure to their institutional investors and more to Bitcoin. In fact, the document is allocating over 2% of its proportionary value to the cryptocurrency and its IBIT shares, which is a pretty big deal considering it's something like a $15 trillion company. It's pretty wild to think about. Quote, Michael Gates here, the lead portfolio manager, says, "We believe Bitcoin has a long-term investment merit and can potentially provide unique and additive sources of diversification to portfolios." So very interesting that they're deciding that they are going to increase the allocation of their portfolio to Bitcoin. Again, we know they've been buying their own ETFs. We know we've had significant ETF volume, albeit feels like today is a lower market exit, but very important to reference. The decision comes after registering 930 million in outflows in the past 4 days. Feb 26 experienced the largest daily outflows of 418 million in capital leaving the fund. Okay, they still hold $48 billion worth of Bitcoin though on their iShares ETF. So very interesting thing. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what else is going on. Well, look, Arizona State approved strategic digital reserve. Good news. This now goes forward to the Senate, one of the first ones going forward. So reserves are coming. This is all very positive when it comes to the market in what has been 4 complete days of downward momentum, really challenging moments, and more importantly, lots of people questioning whether they should be still holding or whether they should be selling their bags. Well, let's talk a little bit about why I haven't sold anything. Yes, my portfolio is significantly down. Did I take profits on the way up? Yes, because it would be sensible to do that. Have I got capital to deploy in the market? Yes, not as much as I would like. However, let's talk about what is happening. Well, here's an interesting chart for you. This is the BTC whales. These are ultimately wallets holding a certain amount. You've got a couple of key things to think about. The orange is brand new whales, those that have been accumulating huge amounts of Bitcoin over the course of a set period of time. And we're going to break into that just right now. You've also then got the line underneath, which is the price. You can see that in the kind of gray as we highlight some of these key areas. So new whales, those that have been accumulating Bitcoin and are now holding over a set amount. These are people with over 10,000 Bitcoin on their portfolio. And you can see that we are increasing that amount. New whales are being formed every day. If you take the 10,000, there isn't really been much change over the course of the last sort of 18 months. Likewise, when you start getting into the 1,000 to 10,000 bracket, and then more importantly, those big wallets holding 100 to 1,000 Bitcoin, you can see they're pretty much unchanged. If anything, a slight upward momentum. Well, what does this tell us? It tells us that the big money isn't going anywhere. It tells us that institutions, whales, all wallets, the more savvy cryptocurrency investor, maybe the ones that have done multiple bull markets, are going nowhere. It aligns then perfectly to what we've been talking about for the last few days, that feels like a direct shakeout. Why do we think that? Because the new whales want your cryptocurrency. And that's why we're seeing excessive buying. In fact, you look at that, 592,000 from November, whopping up to 1.528 million yesterday when it comes to that number. So again, nearly a 3x increase in new whale holders. Those people getting your Bitcoin cheap or your cryptocurrency portfolio. Very important thing. And we can kind of double down on that when we take a look at this. These are the total balances of some of those wallets against the Bitcoin price. And while we've seen a decline in the price, what are you noticing here? The total balances on some of these bigger wallets are continuing to grow. These wallets are anything with over 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin. What do we see? We see an increase in those while a price decline. What can we establish from that? The more the price comes down, the more these big wallets accumulate Bitcoin. So when you kind of bring all that together, you say, well, the market really does look positive. Lots of good news, and the big money, the ones that are there for the long run, and ultimately the ones that control the market, in my view, are holding steadfast. In fact, you can pretty much decide that they are accumulating Bitcoin. Now, when you take a look at the actual price of Bitcoin, it's a very interesting story and paints a very different picture. Some key things to think though: 200 moving average we did hold. RSI is the most oversold that it's been back since November 23, which is pretty crazy. So we are definitely set for some upside move, and we see some altcoins moving as well. So it is a matter of time. Are we going to see a relatively quiet weekend when it comes to the cryptocurrency markets? Positively, I think that could be a good thing. Into a new week, ETF volume is slowing down on 245 million worth of outflows. That's a 3x reduction in the last 72 hours, which again could be bullish. But sometimes you just have to zoom out and understand what's going on from a macro side of things. And at the moment, yes, the price stings, but everything else is pointing that the bull market is still on and we're going higher. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Look out for the rally into early next week. That's my prediction. I think we'll see a pretty quiet weekend. Watch out. Some key things coming for us, and it may be pretty bullish. As always, thanks so much for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button on your way out, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.